hopefully they'll be able to do that. Let's head back to the free agency friend zone over there with the two fun guys, Dan Orlovsky and Pete Schrager. Orlovsky, what quarterback story is kind of most intriguing to you? Obviously, you told us about Kyler dropping into Kevin O'Connell's offensive system. Kyler more of a freestyle guy. Kevin O'Connell's system more locked in. Geno Smith heading into Frank Reich's potentially over there in New York for the Jets. Tua at Atlanta with Kevin Stefanski. What are the Malik in Miami? What are your new quarterback situations that are seemingly brewing? What are your thoughts on them? And who's not going to be ass, you think?
I'll start in Atlanta with Tua. I really believe that this was the right choice for both parties. The place in Tua, for Tua's perspective, the place in Atlanta. Best offensive line Tua's ever played with. Not even close. And then they are loaded with talent. Obviously, Bijan, Drake London. They signed, who's the receiver from the Philadelphia Eagles?
Jahan Dotson.
Correct. Thank you for that, Tone. So, there's plenty of talent, and they've tagged Kyle Pitts. So I'm not telling everybody that this is going to be Sam Darnold in Seattle last year, but I do think that the conversation over the last 24 hours has been a little bit not real when it comes to Tua. 2 years ago, he was in the MVP conversation, led the NFL in passing. Definitely a decline, no doubt, but if they can find ways to kind of mesh the systems together, that's a big. I also think it makes sense for Atlanta. We have no idea what Michael Penix is going to be, when he comes back, if he comes back, how it's going to operate, all that, okay? I think it's let's figure out what we have at the quarterback spot this year, and if either of these guys blows our mind for Kevin Stefanski and Matt Ryan, great. If not, 2027. I think my attention right now is focused on probably some other places. Number one, Arizona. Arizona signed Gardner Minshew, no question that's like a backup role. But is Mike LaFleur going to go into the first season as a head coach with just him? Are they a team that you pay attention to in the draft, maybe? Are they going to try to move down in the draft and maybe be a guy for a play for a guy in the draft, a Ty Simpson, a Drew Aller, a Garrett Nussmeier, something like that? I'll bring this up to you. Honest, if you're the Indianapolis Colts.
Well, okay.
If you're the Indianapolis Colts, what would you rather do? Chase after Kyler Murray for $1 million, $1.5 million, or be strangleholded by Daniel Jones and his group for $50+ million?
Well, it was this guy who said $50 million.
That's a good question.
It's out there.
I don't need you rear naked choking my opinions and thoughts right now in this free agency frenzy.
What would you rather do?
So,
Put him in a tough spot.
Dan, is that real? Who are you reading? Is this somebody? Is this I got fake news garage some troll making this up that they wanted $50 million, or did they tell you exactly that Daniel Jones is looking for $50 million plus a year because of what happened, coming fresh off a broken leg on one side and a torn Achilles on the other side, and we don't know when he's going to be healthy?
I'm just saying it's an interesting situation. I don't know. I know I've not heard $50 million or whatnot, but I do think there are reports that they offered him something similar to a Sam Darnold deal,
which was 3 for $100, I do believe. If you go back and do the math, the transition tag here that he's on is like 36.8, so it's actually a little bit more maybe if they did offer them a Sam Darnold deal. But once again, we don't know what's real and what isn't real. Both teams and agents are trying to get numbers out there, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
To try and in between our rooms. You know what I mean?
Can't hear us, right?
They're trying to say.
No, he can't hear us.
Schefter's in his. Yeah, he can't hear shit right there. He can't hear anything. Schefter can't hear anything. They don't tell me anything. They don't tell me anything. But there's always news getting sent out for different reasons. If Daniel Jones is able to get like a 3-year, $150 million deal to play quarterback, I will be so happy for him. Totally. I'll be so happy for him. Now, I don't think that's feasible for the Colts to do, especially after what we just did for Alec Pierce and what we're going to have to do for Jonathan Taylor and all these things. And was Daniel Jones the only one that really brought us happiness and excitement? Yes. Mm-hmm. So is that the right decision? I don't know. But to your point, if we can get Kyler in that Shane Steichen offense.
Oh, man.
Him and JT in the same backfield.
Question, Dan.
And it's $1 million. I want Daniel Jones. Please.
Sure.
Final answer. Broken leg, torn Achilles and all. He was playing with a broken leg.
Still bringing it.
And they said, why did he tear his Achilles? Well, he had a broken fucking leg.
He tear the Achilles. What point of
they were
November?
8-2. They were 8-2 at the time.
So let's call it Thanksgiving World. I mean, what is? We saw that Kirk Cousins. Now I think Daniel's probably 6 years younger than when Kirk did it, but you're still dealing with the reality of Daniel Jones. I would agree. 3-year, 150. I'd be ecstatic for him. He has the ACL for his time in New York, right? Didn't he do his ACL in New York? and there's an Achilles tear. So I think there's things that the Colts, who feel like, okay, some good things are happening. I just think it's an interesting situation to just pay attention to.
Dark.
What do you want, Butsy?
Put me in the stranglehold.
Yeah, because we're living in good times right now. Look at this. This was a good time to be a Colts fan. Pierce,
Yeah.
he's back. He's back. We gave him to it. We gave it. We paid.
Big time.
We're appreciative of that. He's back. We were winning everything.
All these catches.
We're 8-2, Dano, number one team in the league. You guys weren't talking about it on Get Up and First Take or NFL Live, which we felt the disrespect for. But on our show, number one headline coming out of NFL was that the Colts are going to win a Super Bowl. That's what it was. And then there was people in New York that were always like, Daniel Jones is going to Daniel Jones. And then he just kept getting better and better and better. And then we came back from a bye week and the guy can't move.
Yeah.
Then he got a broken leg. It's
What were the numbers? 93%? 97%?
93% pessimism.
negative.
And I was certainly in that group.
Yes, you were.
I never thought I'd be here today, but it's Daniel Jones no matter what.
Okay, so $50 million a year, Daniel Jones?
Yes.
Me too. Back to you, Dan. That's our final answer.
Boom.
We want Dan Jones at $50 million a year. Fuck it. $65 million a year.
Let's not forget that Riley torched the Texans defense still late in the year.
Can I stand up
Remember?
for the
Riley Leonard on an up and up.
Riley Leonard.
Can I stand up for the editorial choices of the other programming on this fine network? The Dallas Cowboys do move the needle and were very relevant when we were talking about the Micah Parsons trade. We only report the news and we have to respond to what's in the headlines, Pat.
Peter Schrager.
Okay, I understand. You're talking about why you guys didn't talk about the Colts being great. Got it. I appreciate you clarifying that entire thing. And I understand you have to get that convo off. I get it, honestly. And listen, if you guys could book Jerry on there a little bit more, we'd all be appreciative.
Yes.
He's working landman, stupendous. I mean,
So
absolutely
Great.
Stupendous. He was great, Dan. He literally was.
I don't watch TV.
Kyler in Indianapolis would be crazy, but it seems like all of a sudden, I don't watch TV. This guy. You don't watch college football either. You make it apparent. Right?
Got
you
him.
talk. Okay, you do that. But Kyler to the Vikings seemingly just already done.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sounds like
Lock that in.
But weren't they interested in Daniel Jones too last
Oh,
year?
yeah.
Correct.
They might still be.
Schrags, go on. You seen?
Well,
go
I
ahead.
think the assumption is that, we talked about parental leave and we talked about Sam Darnold, but there really was a piece of this where it was Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold leaving Minnesota, which was part of the decision to let Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah go as the general manager. That the thought that we could have both of those players in our room and both of those guys, Darnold and Jones, have these successful seasons elsewhere was almost the cardinal sin of what this last organization was with the Minnesota Vikings. They love Daniel Jones there. I don't think that is the next landing spot for Daniel Jones. I think Indianapolis makes a ton of sense, and it seems like they like him. The question is, what are the numbers going to be? And gosh, Kyler for $1.3 million or Daniel Jones for even 30-something, and then you throw in the J.J. McCarthy of it all. It is a conversation worth having.
And it's a Daniel Jones that there's a question mark of health. That's also, it's not Daniel Jones that was playing top 5, top 7 football last year. It's Daniel Jones it does have a little bit of
I
the
do
health
think this is
question.
it, and I would bring it back to you guys at the toxic table. There's an off the field element where it felt like Daniel Jones meshed with that organization, meshed with that coaching staff, and the city seemed like they were loving the whole Daniel Jones story. That doesn't go into the film work and the stat sheets and the numbers like we have over here.
guys having beers at Tin Whistle. After
Exactly.
the Indianapolis Motor Speedway's Indy 500. So, I mean, the guy took to the city like a fish to water, and he won immediately. Into what D-Butt said, I don't know if you guys even saw this, there was an optimism poll done by the New York Times, right? I believe it was New York Times, Athletic or whatever, for every fan. Now, who takes these polls? Obviously, nobody I know or people, nobody likes me, from my understanding of how these polls go. I've never understood it, but there was a 96 or 97% pessimism rate for Colts fans that took that poll for going into the season with Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson being the quarterback. I mean, it was just like the Colts are ass. Their fans even think they're ass. Nobody's happy. Now, I tried my absolute best to remain optimistic because we only got 17 games a year promised to us, okay? So if you go into a season just thinking your ass, that's a bad way to view the NFL. That's a bad way to view football season. Football season is a massive piece of my life. I would like to have a little bit of something to wake up to, okay? So whenever Daniel Jones comes in, I start watching the highlights of Daniel Jones. I go and meet Daniel Jones. I go, holy shit, this is a big guy.
Huge.
This is a big guy. And then I start remembering the glory days of betting on Daniel Jones is over for rushing, which you're not going to be able to do in Massachusetts, seems like, for a while. Over on rushing for Daniel Jones, and it always hitting. It's like, wait a minute, this guy is athletic. Wait a minute, this guy has played some good football. And wait a minute, do we have any other option? Not really. From everything that we had heard inside the building, it was not a very good culture. So having somebody from the outside come in, turn our team into what he did, and play the ball that we saw, I think that's why you're getting us saying, give him $100 million a year if that's what he needs. Those were magical times, and we felt alive, and we felt like we had a chance. And that's why I think these types of free agency frenzy days are so important, because the teams that are absolute shite, we're talking about Tennessee Titans, the Raiders, I mean, the Commanders were in the game. They didn't make it into the playoffs. It's like these days when these things happen, you have hope. You have optimism. You think that maybe whenever we're 8 to 10 weeks into the season, we're still going to be able to talk shit that our team has a chance to win the Lombardi. We had all those things with Daniel Jones. And we've had 100 other quarterbacks where we're nowhere near having that. So Dan Orlovsky, I think you're going to hear us say, give us Daniel Jones or give us nothing.
All right.
Even if he can't run for 3 months.
All right. I love that. I don't disagree with you a ton. I do think it's a really good football team that's going to need good quarterback play, and hopefully that's going to be Daniel. But I do think it's interesting. I'll throw another two out at you, okay?
Wait, before you do that, I got one, guys. I don't have the Schefter tweet thing. This is not as big a news as some of the other ones, but it's a player that mattered for the Giants last year. Adam, if you're listening, Micah McFadden, Giants linebacker, returning to the New York Giants. I'm getting the text right now. They've agreed to terms on a 1-year deal. Continue.
I love that.
McFadden.
And that's Terrell Edmonds. Last year, they signed him.
Wow, he stays with the Giants. Good for him.
Tremaine Edmonds.
That's McFadden football, though.
That's right.
Yeah, we like that.
I'll throw in this one. You probably have a little bit of information on. Just if you're a Browns fan or a Jets fan.
Football.
Okay? With the Browns, does the fan base want to go ahead and say Todd Monken play Shador Sanders and he's our starting quarterback, or Deshaun Watson or Dylan Gabriel, but it feels like Shador? And if it's great, it's great. If not, we're going to 2027. Is that a thought process? And the same with the New York Jets. Like, are the Jets, if you're a Jets fan, would you prefer to sign Geno Smith or Kirk Cousins and try to be competitive in some games this year because they've made some good additions? Or are you like, no, win as little games as possible?
Oh, we're not doing the NBA over here.
No, I'm telling as a fan base.
We're not doing that.
As a fan base,
yes. Fan base. As a like, let's be literal here. Let's be real, not, fantasy. Like 3 first-round picks next year?
Yeah. And they got 5 picks in the top, I think, 44 this year.
You can win some games.
Archman.
You can win some games still. You have
I know,
3.
but that's my thing. Is like, do you want to sign one of those quarterbacks to win some games? If you're Aaron Glenn, I'm sure you do. If you're Aaron Glenn, I'm sure you want to be as competitive as possible, win as many games
What
as possible.
about Fireman Ed going out there?
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting to have the conversation of like, what's the actual quarterback move then?